Hello everyone and welcome to another video. This is the Nintendo DS, the best-selling handheld console of all time. It is an iconic platform with literally thousands of games. But what if I told you that the DS is also a fantastic emulation device, and the only thing you need is a flash card? For those of you not familiar, a flash card or an R4 card is a third-party DS cartridge which allows ROMs and homebrew to be booted from a microSD card. Flash cards usually come with the necessary files already installed, but if for any reason you are not able to run the flash card, the manufacturer usually provides everything from a guide to the software on their website. If the flash card boots correctly, it should look something like this. Right now it is still empty, so let's add some emulators to play with. All the emulators I will show you today are linked in the description below. But before we start, a quick disclaimer. Emulators are an exciting way to run the games that you already own on hardware it was not designed for. This video is not meant to condone piracy. You alone are responsible for obtaining games from a legitimate source. Now that I got this out of the way, we can plug our microSD card into a computer and simply drag and drop all the files we need into the root directory. You can make separate folders to organize your ROMs, but you don't need to. Keep in mind that all your emulators need to have the file name extension .nds, otherwise they will not show up in the root directory. Now let me show you some of the emulators I use. StellaDS is a simple Atari 2600 emulator originally developed by the Chuckster and later improved on by Alec Mall. As far as emulators go, this one is very simple, not offering many features, but then again, so did the Atari 2600. It plays ROMs reliably at full speed and it has a quick reset button on the right shoulder. There's also a black and white filter if you are into that. This is a good emulator through and through, so if you really need to play some River Raid on the go, this is your best choice. Lameboy by Nutkey is, as the name suggests, a Game Boy / Game Boy Color emulator and is anything but lame. Most of you will know that the DS has a second slot on the bottom of the system to play Game Boy Advance games. Unfortunately, the regular Game Boy cartridges are not supported, so Lameboy is a fantastic way to play them instead. This emulator is packed with features. For one, you can have save states, you can also upscale the image or change the aspect ratio to fit the screen, but if you want to play in native resolution, Lameboy supports the Super Game Boy borders as well, which is such a cool little detail. But to top it all off, it even supports the DS Rumble Pack. So for the 5 people who still have one, this is our time to shine. There are some negative things I have to point out though. For one, the UI is a bit clunky and changing settings can become a tedious task. Also, while original Game Boy games seem to work fine all across the board, some graphically demanding Game Boy Color games seem to slow down a bit at times. Nothing game-breaking as far as I experienced, but not as smooth as the regular Game Boy games. The DS can also run NES games with the help of NesDS. This emulator offers most features that the Lameboy has as well, but with the added benefit of using the touchscreen to move through the menu, which is a huge step up. NES games run pretty much flawlessly, and with the help of save states, the experience is really good. I think this might be my favorite system to emulate on the DS, because the DS is just powerful enough to run it well, and the emulator is easy to use. So far, the DS was able to play all of these different platforms with ease, but what about 16-bit? If you want to play SNES games on the DS, your best bet is SNEmulDS by Arcade. The UI of this emulator is very similar to NesDS, and it shares most of its features too, including the touchscreen controls. Unfortunately, I have to tell you that this system is where the DS is reaching its limits. I've tried several games on this emulator and graphical glitches are very common. Some don't even boot at all. However, it is still impressive what modders were able to achieve here from a technical standpoint, but I wouldn't call it enjoyable. The DS hardware is simply not powerful enough. But what about that other 16-bit console? The Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive here in Europe can be played on the DS with the help of JenesisDS. Thankfully, this system seems to be a bit more suited for the handheld, as Mega Drive games run quite a bit better compared to NES games. But I have to say that this solution is also not ideal. JenesisDS is a very basic emulator that doesn't offer many quality of life improvements other than save states. One very important setting that is missing is the ability to change the aspect ratio. As it stands, the picture is cropped on both sides of the screen, making it very hard to play some games, with UI elements out of your line of sight. You can use the shoulder buttons to move the screen, but that is very difficult to do while you play. A little disclaimer for the people who want to try out JenesisDS. You have to make sure your ROMs are .bit files, otherwise the emulator can't read them, so keep in mind that you might have to do some additional converting. And there you have it. 5 different emulators for the Nintendo DS. If you like this video, make sure to check out my review on the Nintendo DS Lite in 2022. And if you have any questions or simply want to share your opinion, feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you very much for watching, and of course, have a great day.